All right, welcome back to episode 25. Boston's
Where the hell have you
3.
been? Where the hell have you
Where
been?
have you guys been?
We've been here the
I've
whole
been
time.
here.
I didn't know I was the fuel that kept this show running. Even though we took some time off, we are back and better than ever. We are still sponsored by 10100, shockingly, and they are the only online raffle website giving fans and experience seekers the chance to win tickets to the live sporting events, concerts, music festivals, and more. Not any more Pats games, but you know, you want to go to the Celtics? Celtics are good this year. Like I want some respect to happen on this team. Whether it be from your desktop or mobile device, winning tickets to your favorite event has never been so easy and fun. Choose your desired event, purchase a raffle ticket into the draw, and you could be the lucky winner. I'm going to say this right off the bat real quick. I'm frozen, so I'm going to be staring just right at my square the whole time, just at this frozen face, and it's going to bother me the entire show. I'm just letting you know right now.
You're not frozen on my
I
end.
know. I'm frozen.
Yeah, you're not frozen over.
This
It's
is
funny.
important part.
I will say this. If you know the Spike King, I have been all about the Celtics since last summer. I'm actually more of a Celtics fan than the Patriots, if you've been following me this last year. Who started the Taco Fall thing? I mean, Spike King was there since day one. Who was the reason why Kyrie Irving's out of Boston and Scary Terry's out of Boston? This guy right here, Spike King.
Danny Ainge.
Spike King has been a Celtics guy this entire run. The Pats were just a filler in between. Just because you know what? The Celtics are great. Celtics are great. I can't wait to get back to the TD Garden.
Celtics are finishing a back-to-back with Philly tonight. You know, the last time they actually were winning in a game, like just had a lead in a game,
probably 5 years.
It was almost like a week ago when they were playing in Chicago. They've been losing, lost at home to the Spurs and lost, I think, on the road.
Got tossed out though. That was stupid too.
All right, we'll go into Celtics later, but people aren't watching this to talk Celtics right now. This guy got a tattoo in August to run it back, and the Pats lose to the Titans, a.k.a. the Pats lose to Derrick Henry, and and the tattoo doesn't go away. Like, it stays on. It physically could go away. There are a lot of people who are asking you if you're going to get it removed.
Show us.
This is your first time publicly stating whatever happened about the tattoo, so the floor is yours.
Okay, first of all, let's just say last year, Super Bowl 53, what an amazing, magical run that was. The 11-5 season, I stayed believing in that team. I got the tattoo last year, and they won it all. So you know what? I was already 1-0, and when you're heading into this season, this team looked way better on paper. This team looked like everything was going to go for them. And you know what? People don't understand marketing. This tattoo right here, win or lose, I don't give a fuck, okay? It's a football game. Listen, it's going to happen. They're not going to happen every single time. Marketing. That tattoo to do it again gets me on the check down. That tattoo lands me a deal to get on a commercial. That tattoo makes me network and go all across the country this season. That tattoo lands players to laugh at me, to joke around. It's just a tattoo to them. They don't give a shit either. And that tattoo got me to go to so many games, got me to meet so many people. This tattoo might represent a Super Bowl championship. This tattoo to the Spike King, to Brian, represents the community that I got to build this season. It represents all the network I got to do. Spike King continues going up. Spike King doesn't go anywhere. Spike King will be there in April at the NFL draft. Spike King will be there at training camp, at the OTAs, causing a ruckus yet again going into next season. So a lot of people are saying, what are you going to do with it? Nothing. It stays there. We'll have fun with it. We'll make fun of it, of course. I'm a jabroni. People know I make fun of myself all the time. So I'll have that time, and I'll have that to make everyone else out there laugh. At the end of the day, you're going to forget about it. I forget about it because it's basketball season.
I've been saying that it's been basketball season. I've been saying it's basketball season before they lost to Baltimore. I'm like, dude, whatever. This team's not going to win anything. I'm going to focus all my attention on the Celtics, which – now that it's literally only going to be like a heavy basketball show because as football season, I don't think anyone really knows about the Bruins to talk about them as much as we can talk about the Celtics.
The Pats will have a lot to talk about. There's so many question marks going into the offseason.
It's going to be a busy offseason.
And again, you take this team on paper. Let's go to the beginning of the season. The beginning of the season when I got the tattoo, right? All of a sudden, right after I get the tattoo, David Andrews is out. See you later. Blood clots. He might not even play again. Then Brandon King on special teams tears his ACL in preseason. Then all of a sudden, looking a little bit bad. Boom. They punch the Steelers right in the dick the first game. You're like, okay, this team's got it. Boom. They go get Antonio Brown, and they wipe the floor with Miami. And then all of a sudden things start falling off. And I think the turning point of this season, in my eyes, was week 3 against the Jets, and they put Stidham in there, and Stidham throws a pick 6 on his second throw. And I just thought from right then and there, Brady doesn't have a guy behind him. He feels that everything's going to be on him. Then they lose Antonio Brown, and I feel
Hold on.
I'm not done. And I feel like Brady's heart was never in the season. And I feel like these players with their whole boogeyman mantra and stuff, that's not really a Belichick thing. And they're all coming out here saying that this and that. And I'm going to go back on record and saying, if there's one moment that I knew the Patriots were not winning the Super Bowl this year, and I've said it on the show before, it's because they got rid of Brian Hoyer. And I stick with that, and I stay with that, because you laugh. I see you laughing. Brian Hoyer is someone that's behind Tom Brady that he trusts. Tom Brady wasn't bad this year, obviously, compared to the other years. He still threw for 4,000 yards. He only had 8 interceptions. Yes, his touchdowns were down, but this offense was lacking. In the last 10 games, they didn't even score 30 points, and they only did against Cincinnati, but 6 of those points was because of Stephon Gilmore. That offense could not get it going. And that guy, Brian Hoyer, is on the sidelines, and Brady comes to him and says, "What do I do?" And Hoyer's there. That should have never got rid of Hoyer, and they got rid of him, and they ended up getting Cody Kessler anyways later in the season. That always bugged me this season. A lot of things that bugged me.
Well, you got to go back. You said that the Stidham pick 6. That was the 3rd game of the season. The Pats went 5-0 after that. And you still got to have some sense of hope. This team's got something in the tank that they have the ability to do something special.
You knew the wheels were going to fall off.
You went 8-0 halfway through the season. You haven't lost a game.
Yeah, but you can't say Brian Hoyer is the reason the wheels fell off the Patriots train.
He's just Brian. He was a mind on the sideline.
For advice for Tom Brady and good for intimidating the other team's defense, in practice and stuff. But at the end of the day, he's not affecting the game in real time. That defense still played phenomenal, even without his practice resume stuff going on. So I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's just unfortunate that the defense, this was the best defense of the decade, technically speaking. But it's just crazy that the defense and offense could just really never mesh. And you saw flashes of that in the Buffalo game, and then maybe the second half of the Cincinnati game. I mean, I was talking to Roondog last night. He said his pinpoint this year of when he knew this team wasn't going to go far was the Eagles game. He said that how the offense couldn't get anything going after a bye week, and they only put up 17 points that week. It's just unfortunate. I mean, they just couldn't get their shit together. It's like the defense plays phenomenal all week, and then when you need them in a 2-minute drill, Miami goes right down the field 75 yards, 80 yards, 90 yards, and scores a touchdown on your ass, and then you just lost the bye week. And I even think if they had the bye week, they still would have got lost to Kansas City. Kansas City would have came in here. Whoever won that wild card game, which would have been the Titans, and the Titans still would have came in here. No, the Titans would have played Baltimore. They still would have lost. There's no way they're winning the divisional game. We would just be hyping it up and talking about it, but there's no way they were going to do anything this season.
And I think take it in perspective. It is, as a Patriots fan, it's hard to say, but you'd much rather lose to a team like the Titans, who they're not given the best shot at winning the Super Bowl. You're not looking at this team going all the way, especially relying on Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill. But if it were to lose to a team like Kansas City, if they were to come to New England and Patrick Mahomes was to beat Tom Brady at home,
that would drive me nuts.
Again, it wouldn't it wouldn't be a bad look. You'd have all the headlines saying it's the end of an era, passing of the torch. I think it's much better look for the Patriots. We lost, but we
lost to a running back.
We lost to not a bad team because they're in the playoffs and
72
playing a week
yards from Ryan Tannehill.
Oh, let me say this real
Unreal.
Quick. Throughout the season, I have 2 things. The start of the season, when we were talking about this in the show, we were all saying dude, this Patriots team is wicked good. And
we gotta go back.
Everybody.
Unreal.
I also said every single week when we pick people that I'm never betting against Derrick Henry. And you could go back and every single week, Derrick Henry just dropped 170 on our head. He's built, man. Dude. And then all his high school tape and stuff got out. I used to just watch his high school tapes on YouTube and stuff. It's wicked funny. He literally could do whatever he wanted on a high school field.
How did the last coach before Mike Vrabel get fired with Derrick Henry on the roster?
There's a lot of bad NFL coaches.
Seeing what Derrick Henry's been able to do just this season alone is unreal. Like seeing how, like why he was the Heisman and how it's translating into the NFL like 2-3 years later. Where was this guy when the other coaches were here? Where was he even? Like he was there last year with Vrabel, but still,
Yeah,
these
seeing
guys.
this guy in person is just a whole different level.
Yeah.
You just look at him. He's as big as some of the linemen out there. He's just an absolute freak of nature. Runs a 4.5, and he's almost as big as some of these linemen. It's almost unfair. And you saw it this entire week leading up to the Patriots game. You knew it was coming. You didn't think Ryan Tannehill was going to beat you with your arm. You knew they were going to run it down our throat to Derrick Henry, and that's exactly what they did, and we just couldn't stop it.
Do you think the Patriots should make a competitive run at Ryan Tannehill?
No. Who do you want to win the Super Bowl now? I'm on the Lamar Jackson train. I need to see.
I'm either
Lamar
Baltimore or
Jackson
Seattle. I'd like to see Russell Wilson get a second round.
I'd like to see. I'd agree with you there.
All right,
I
who do you
think
not want to
Seattle.
see then?
I don't want to see. I don't want to see San Francisco.
No.
Oh, I'd love to see San Fran win.
So a couple shows, whenever the last time we did this, you know me, I came out, I said like Oakland Raiders to AFC title game this year. They almost snuck in, by the way.
Almost.
And I had my Super Bowl pick, and I said it was the Saints. Remember, I changed that pick at around week 8. And what team did I pick? The Minnesota Vikings. And what team just went into New Orleans and beat the Saints? The Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings are going. The Minnesota Vikings are going to win the Super Bowl this year. I am all on the Vikings train this year. I'll have to cover it right over. I am picking the Minnesota Vikings, and I'll say this: Jimmy G and San Fran. Everyone wants that sexy pick. People want to see Jimmy G. No, you don't want that. If you're a Pats fan, you do not want you don't want the 49ers. No, because then the narrative will keep going as, well, if we had Jimmy G, we would have won the Super Bowl this year. If Belichick moved on from
if Kraft gets over his stuff, he comes back, he takes his pride.
I don't want to see Jimmy G successful.
Down.
I don't want to see that success because then that gives Belichick the whole, like, I'm kicking Brady out of here. I'm done with him.
It does become a bad look, I think.
It comes a bad look.
It's already become that because of how successful he's been this season alone, even last season before the injury. Jimmy G is a successful quarterback.
He is, and I also think San Fran's a little fraudish too at that 1 seed. I don't think they're a true 1 seed.
I'd agree with you because any team in the NFC could have been the 1 seed.
Came down the wire. Yeah. That's why I think it'll be a Seattle. I think it'll be a Seattle Vikings NFC title game, which Seattle most likely could go to the Super Bowl. I think they're the better team. I think the right team didn't show up in Philly. That's a hard place to play, but that wasn't the Seattle football where they just played that past week. That's a team that Seattle can go into Green Bay and smash them. Vikings can expose San Fran, and Seattle all of a sudden is hosting the NFC title game, which is crazy. There's a 6 and a 5 seed, and that's what I'm saying. I think it's going to be Texans Titans in the AFC title game. I think it's just going to be a wacky NFL 100 season going into there, and it's going to be one of the lowest rated Super Bowls. No one's going to care. No one's going to watch, and everyone's going to be like, "This is why we need the Patriots to cheat.
We need the Patriots.
This is why we need them. Why are we screwing around with Breeze? We need them in the Super Bowl as well too. We need some entertainment. We need some excitement. Imagine Breeze, Brady, Super Bowl. The NFL, we were that last season. We're that close. One missed call and we could have had it. Granted, I don't know how much closer the game would have been, but I think it would have been a much better game than 13-3.
It could have been a bad look too, though, media-wise for Brady's legacy too. Because if Breeze goes in there and whoops you, what does that do to you?
It's a whole different.
The last thing I want to see is a Rodgers Super Bowl win because all these morons on Twitter. You know, I realized Twitter's run by 15-year-olds, and every time I see something that gets me wicked mad, it's by I don't know, it's like Tony Snell or something like that. This is like Giannis season or something like that with all these graphics and stuff. Yeah. They just said the most ridiculous NBA NFL takes. I'm just like, why am I getting mad? These are literally kids studying for vocab tests. Those Pats fan pages that always DM me every single day, just where's the spiking, blah blah blah, all this stuff. Where's this video? You trashed us. I'm like, dude, I don't care. Have fun with your spelling test in the morning. I don't need negativity in 2020. I want all good vibes and positivity. We leave the negativity into last decade. I'm blocking out the haters. I'm blocking out the people that be like, Rodgers,
put some sunglasses on.
Yeah. This is only gonna hurt, fuel the Rodgers greater than Brady fire. I'm like, oh my god, everyone with a brain knows that Brady's the better quarterback, but everyone who just wants 100 retweets, 200 likes, all this garbage.
I don't know. Lamar Jackson's a way better quarterback.
I want Lamar Jackson to win. Lamar Jackson is the truth. He's so fun to watch.
I think the NFL wants Lamar Jackson to win.
He better win.
Yeah, they
I
absolutely
don't
want him
wanna
to.
say.
Lamar
That
Jackson.
people are gonna spin
Colin
it.
Kaepernick
ESPN,
was Lamar Jackson
NFL
before
Network.
Lamar Jackson.
They want it.
They need it.
He's just that dude this season where all the headlines might as well be on the cover of Madden next year. Just
He's gonna be on
everything
the
is
cover.
about
It's the new
Lamar.
Mahomes. They
Yeah.
replaced their
Yeah.
golden boy every year now because Brady's starting. To
Exactly.
I am just interested to see this upcoming weekend if Lamar Jackson actually shows up, because last year in the divisional game, where was he for 3.5 quarters?
To be fair, that fourth quarter he did come alive.
Where
He
was
was a
he for
rookie.
3.5
He was a
quarters
rookie.
though? You
He
know
was
what
a
I mean?
rookie. Yeah, he's a rookie. He had some time to develop.
He's
Now
a
he-
rookie. All right, his
What's
second
your
year in the league,
excuse this
he's gonna
year?
get.
He's a sophomore. What's your excuse next year? He's a junior.
No
What's your
excuses.
excuse
He's
next
the
year?
number
Well,
one
it's only been
seed.
4 years in the
If
league.
if he loses, he loses. But if he's a rookie playing the NFL for the first time, like you're gonna have some hiccups in the road. It happens to be you almost come back and win a playoff game in the NFL. And your
As the
second
youngest
year in the
quarterback
league
to ever
is
start
you
a
put
playoff
up records every single time, and you put up absolutely historic numbers. You were the talk of the NFL. You're the face of the NFL, whether people want to hear that or not. At least this season.
Doesn't mean you're gonna win it all.
I know, but I'm saying that's a good
Pat
jump.
Mahomes.
Yeah, if he
no,
loses,
I
Exactly.
agree.
All right,
No,
let's
like
talk
the
about,
NFL's in a good spot right now to have a guy like Pat Mahomes and Lamar Jackson leading the way in the AFC. And people thought it was going to be Mariota, and that guy just fell off the face of the earth.
That guy's a bum. Like a
And
bum.
I'm also, and I know maybe we'll get into a little college football later because the big national title game's on Monday, and I don't watch college football, but we all know that Burrow's going to end up going to Cincinnati. So that's got to be another guy in the AFC that we're going to be able to watch for.
You know what I was thinking with that Burrow thing? Remember, was it Nick Bosa or Joey Bosa said like he wouldn't play if this team drafted him? Imagine if Burrow's like, dude, Cincinnati.
Eli Manning.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Play
You
for the
happened
Chargers.
before.
want to play with the Chargers, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, he was on CBS Sports with Boomer Esiason. He was handing him the Bengals helmet as like kind of like a passing the torch thing. He like looked at it for a good 10 seconds, like, what am I getting into? He's like, oh my god, what's going on?
60-year
bad.
start. All right, let's get into some of these Instagram questions. A lot of them revolving around the Patriots. So instead of doing like a normal rundown list, it's gonna be like a fan
A
base
lot
show.
of questions. This is like the most questions we've ever had.
Ever.
But it's mostly the same shit. And
Yeah.
most of the questions are the same. So if you
Yeah,
don't get to your
scan
question,
through.
Yeah,
we've
I'm
got to
gonna-
ask like 5 different
Pick-
times.
I'm gonna
Try
pick
again
up
next
the best
week.
one.
Yeah, try again next week.
I'm
We'll
gonna
probably
pick
get 2
the best
questions
out
next
of the
week.
litter. RVMata._. What would you consider the biggest needs that must be met for Brady to stay? You need to have Kraft swallow his pride and go after Antonio Brown again, because right after
That's
Antonio Brown
done.
left, no, yeah,
That's
it is
done.
done. But I'm
It's
saying
done.
right after AB left, all the allegations gone out the window. Nobody talks. They just talk about how he's an insane human being. I'll take insane. Brady's a
Yeah.
crazy human, and he's
We've had
just
murderers
best-
on this.
yeah. Speaking of murderers, you see that Netflix documentary coming out about
Yeah.
Hernandez?
That looks
I
pretty
will
good,
be doing a
actually.
review for that. Anyways, you get AB, you beg Gronk to come back or something. Anyone, you maybe trade for OBJ. You sell the farm just for one more year with Brady, because no matter what, we're gonna stink when Brady's gone. We're gonna be bad. Like if you don't see it, if you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, that light is a train and it's coming at you. We're gonna be a bad team. Sell everything just for one more good year, because we weren't a good team this year, and we were trying to do a little bit of like Kraft and Belichick's way. Didn't work out. I think you just sell high, put all the money in one pot, and you just go for the win.
The thing that's gonna
Stafford
sell me for
uses-
Brady, the thing for Brady for me, I think, multi-year commitment. He wants to get paid at market value because he wants his money he's been denied all these years, and he wants a multi-year commitment. He wants to prove he can play until he is indeed 45, and he needs to show it in a Patriot uniform.
So, and I think that it's going to be impossible for that to happen on this
Yeah,
I
Patriots
agree.
team.
I agree.
And because of money reasons. Now, like Roondog was throwing this at me yesterday and saying, if Brady wants the market value and say he's getting paid like $30 million a year, like whatever he wants, right? They're only going to have like $19 million left in cap space, and they're going to have to start moving shit around. And here's a couple now that question. Let's go to the actual question. It's like, what do you need to put around Brady to keep him here? Well, for starters, the offensive line. What's protecting Brady? We don't even know if David Andrews is even going to come back from that injury, and that could be a question mark heading into way next year. Ted Karras, who played pretty good, he stepped up in that role, and I said this. Ted Karras is going to step up in that role, and that motherfucker is a free agent now, and he's going to get paid somewhere. He was only making $700,000, so now you need a starting center. You might need a new starting center going into next year. And then on top of that, who knows, the whole left tackle experience. Joe Tooney, I think, is another one that's a free agent this year. You're going to have to pay him as well. They might be
Marshall
losing
Newhouse
some
off of the
key,
planet.
they might be losing some key pieces already on that offensive line. And that's just the start. Then all of a sudden, Philip Dorsett, he's gone. He's a free agent. Then Edelman, another year older. You can't trust him anymore. What's going on with his injuries? He might be hanging up his cleats for all we know if Brady's out of here. He's not going to be spending another season just hurting himself. And then all of a sudden, too, your tight end slot. Gronk might be done for good. You need Gronk to come back. And Gronk, and I wanted to go on this little rant, and I said this before the show. Gronk proved his point. Gronk was scheduled to make $12 million or whatever that he was this for his final year. He said not worth it. He wants to get paid more. And guess what? He stepped away, and it kind of showed that the Pats really needed him. There were so many times when you're probably watching the Patriots this year, you're like, that would have been a great Rob Gronkowski play. This is a moment, 3rd and 13 we need, or 3rd and 6, or whatever it ends up being, that you're like, we need Rob Gronkowski on this play. And they're not going to have the money to be able to pay him. They're not going to be able to have the money to pay Brady. They're not going to have the money to carry Odell Beckham's contract on top of that. That's just too much. We can keep dreaming. This guy, and based on what Tom Brady said in his Instagram post, to me, seemed like a farewell to New England. It seemed like, hey, guys, I want to thank everyone for the last 20 years of what you guys did at Gillette Stadium. I'm going to be back playing football. Doesn't stay in New England, didn't commit to anything with the Patriots. I'm sure he's going to wait till March. He's going to go test the market and see what other teams are going to offer him. And other teams are going to throw tons of money at him. And I think that it's over. Realistically, I do not see the Patriots being able to do this with a salary cap. Go ahead, Staff.
I've been cooking this crazy theory up, right, about Brady, because I've been hearing all this stuff from Felger and Maz, just like shooting the shit, talking about different scenarios. And here's my play. The Raiders. It's their first season in Las Vegas next year. They're building the Death Star of a stadium out there. Blacked out. They're trying to go in with a bang. They offer Tom Brady market value money. Bring Tom Brady in, trade Derek Carr, because Gruden doesn't like Derek Carr. And then after Antonio Brown tweets out during the Titans game, he's only going to play football with Tom Brady, the Raiders then get Antonio Brown back on their roster. First year in Vegas, and Tom Brady and Antonio Brown are the headliners first year for the Las Vegas Raiders.
And they actually, I think they have a pretty decent offensive line there. I could see something like that happening too. The NFL needs to make a splash in Vegas. What better way than having Tom Brady lead that way and building a fan base out there? Tom Brady would look great in black, by the way. That would be interesting. We've seen that picture floating around earlier. And Derek Carr gets traded away. I think that makes a ton of sense right there. I could see that
realistically,
no way in hell that happens. Yeah. Giselle doesn't like New England in the first place. You think she's like Vegas?
Yeah.
Are you talking to me?
I'm just
He's
saying.
He's gonna follow the money whoever commits to him long term, and it might be the Raiders.
Long term.
I think this if any, I mean, I get that the NFL and every sports league is a business, but if you had a brain, like if you went with your heart instead of your brain, you give Tom Brady a blank check and says, fill it out. I don't care. This dude did everything for New England football. Quite literally, for 20 years. It wasn't like 5 years. He's the single greatest football player of all time.
There might as well not have been New England football before.
No matter what, dude, we're going to be bad. We're going to be terrible no matter what. And like everybody knew that. Everyone like watching Brady and Belichick like, oh, this is going to stink when they leave. That time's here. So no matter what, you would be like, hey, this is the biggest thank you card of all time. Kraft gives him his checkbook. He's like, dude, write down any number. I don't care.
Yeah.
And then you just ride it out with Brady. He's one of those players. He should be like, you don't
but
see
here's the thing. But here's the thing, Tyler, you can give him a blank check. First of all, Raiders play against New England in New England. Would love to see him play back in New England.
That'd be awesome. Too much sense.
I just want to say that. But listen, you give him that blank check. You give him the Kobe Bryant treatment. You say, here's your money, dude. Yep. 2 years, $65 million. All guarantee. We love you. And Kraft would do that.
Yeah.
But does Brady realize that they're going to suck for 2 straight years and there's no – yeah, they might go to the playoffs wild card for 2 straight years and that's it. And does Brady want that? Does Brady want to be like, I want to get paid, but I don't have a team around me? If the Pats pay him, he's not going to have a team around him. Belichick.
I think he stays, but who knows?
Tyler, is it the same thing about Jerry Rice? And where did Jerry Rice go? The Oakland
Raiders.
Raiders. He helped build San Francisco football, one of the greatest dynasty before the New England came up.
And Tom Brady grew up on the 49ers. Who did he grow up on? Joe Montana. Joe Montana left the 49ers.
Went to Kansas City.
And look at Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan left the Chicago Bulls. Like it's very rare where you'll see a player like a Derek Jeter that stays on a team for the entire career. You don't see that much anymore. And we want that. But then again, because of what Brady did, I think it hurts him. I think it hurts his brand a little bit in the short term, but long term, this guy goes out to Vegas. He's building TB12 out there in Vegas now.
Exactly.
He's starting to put his business out there. And he might hurt his market here in New England for a bit because people are going to be like, you know what? He gave us 6 rings. He did us this for 20 years. I'm still going to buy into it. After you get over it, we're all salty. We'll be salty. You'll get over it.
Same thing happened with Bobby Orr. Bobby Orr went to Chicago for the last year of his career, and his reputation isn't tarnished. He's still the most popular guy in New England.
Left, and he went to go to the Colorado Avalanche, and he won
exactly
the Stanley Cup.
Guys,
surprised I know that.
All right, speaking of if Brady leaves,
Tom Brady will finish his career in New England.
I
Guarantee
think what's more important is about Bill Belichick, and this is now time to say, I trust Bill.
Yeah.
I trust Bill. And if this guy is going to, Brady is going to go bank on himself because he has to, because he does want to play. He wants to compete. He should go to the NFC. I don't want to see him in the AFC, but this is the time that you trust Belichick. And I trust that if we got rid of Brady and say, see you later, he's got $30 million to play with. I don't like Stidham. I don't think he's
all right, wait. Before we go into this is the next question. It goes, if Brady leaves from Clay Goat, if Tom Brady does retire or leave, is it Stidham or is it somebody else?
Okay, so I don't think
Cody
it's
Kessler.
I don't think it's Stidham, but I think that Belichick can put the right pieces around him with $30 million, can put the right pieces around Stidham to mask some of his flaws, and then he could develop over time. They're still going to have to go into this upcoming draft and still draft another quarterback and have these guys compete. Plus, if you saw the market out there, you got guys like Jameis Winston, Mariota, and even someone like Andy Dalton that's probably going to leave, Derek Carr that's probably going to end up
I have the answer.
Listen, I'm just saying that you can have a veteran guy still come in. I trust Bill because how about we have the one season, the one outlier, and that was 2008 with Matt Castle. You had Randy Moss still on the team, but they fucking went 11-5 that season. And 11-5, that record won them a Super Bowl last year. 11-5 will get you a wild card mostly every year. And it's funny they didn't make it that year, that 1 year, so you can't tell what's going to happen in the playoffs. I trust in Bill, and I think it will be better long-term for the New England Patriots to move on from Tom Brady. I think it'll be fine to move on from him and use that $30 million and go get yourself Odell. Go get yourself somebody because you know you can pay those guys.
I want to go off of this hypothetical that you say, like, if Tom Brady were to leave, because you're talking about, like, who's going to be the next quarterback for the New England Patriots. I'm going to tell you, the guy that's going to replace Brady, he's not on the roster yet. He's not on the roster yet. It's not Stidham. It's never going to be Cody Kessler. I don't even know why that guy was even on the roster. He was inactive the last few weeks, but. Say Tom Brady
from Twitter.
I
think we're thinking of the same person.
I don't know. Say Tom Brady were to leave. You can let me know if it's right, because I've seen it floating around and I was like, why not? Let's run with it. So if Tom Brady were to leave, if he were to retire, the Patriots go like say 3-13 in the first year without Brady. You're just awful, hot garbage, dumpster fire next year. It'd be all fun and games for NFL fans. Oh yeah, the dynasty's over until the Patriots do end up going. Awful record, 3-13, and then the very next year they got the first overall pick, Trevor Lawrence, first overall. Now that would be
the Spurs did with Tim Duncan.
That would be America's worst nightmare.
Spurs had like Dave Robinson, the only marketable player. They did terrible. Next thing you know,
and you wouldn't even have to go 3-13 because we were thinking about trading up to the Giants spot to take Baker Mayfield, dropped out of Cleveland. We could realistically just be in the middle of the pack and trade up and still get Goldilocks. Trevor Lawrence.
That were to happen.
So I'm gonna take that scenario and I like it. I understand where you're coming from. I like where Stafford's going and saying if we want something, we'll fucking trade for it. Just like the Rams, how they finance their entire future and they made a mistake there. I would trust that Belichick, if he's gonna finance everything and put everything on the table, we would be a little bit better. Let me say something right here though, is that Belichick right now, he's also has a short window in coaching. I give him another 5 years. He's not wasting a tanking season right now, this late in the stage of his career. He is chasing Don Shula's all-time win record.
Yeah, he's 25
So going 3-13 means that he's going to have to coach a whole nother year on top of that, and I just can't see him doing that.
He
All right,
hates
closest
John
I
Still
got
to that
this is
record.
the correct answer because it comes from yours truly, OJ Simpson.
Always right.
OJ.
No, not me. It's coming from OJ Simpson on Twitter.
I
Like
trust
his
OJ.
if you don't follow OJ Simpson on Twitter, I kind of feel guilty about following him because he did some stuff. But he has must-see videos. Like he doesn't tweet, he just puts out videos. So he was talking about today how he's at like the barbershop and everything, and how like the talk of the shop was who's going to be the Pats quarterback next year. And he said that Teddy Bridgewater should be the New England Patriots quarterback next year. And then he had some solid points. He's like, the whole league's going to a running system. It's like he's a big quarterback, can throw the ball, a deep ball. And do you know who votes on like the NFL like top players of the first, like 100 people? Belichick has most of the say in that. And OJ Simpson, despite all the bad stuff he did, Belichick still voted for him. So I think that if OJ Simpson, Belichick sees that OJ video, gets a little something in his ear, he's like, dude, maybe we should. Like OJ clearly knows football. Like he's very good at football.
Just
You'll have to watch the video. I might pipe it in. I don't know. Maybe I might pipe it in here. And if you didn't hear it, then I didn't do it. But yeah.
I just want to imagine a scenario.
He went 5-0 without the Saints. Like he
With
hasn't
Michael
lost an
Thomas.
NFL game.
I just want to imagine a scenario where there's a Patriots assistant, like social media, someone just finds this OJ Simpson video and just like,
this is the Bill.
hey Bill, check this. Hear me, check this out. Like, he's got a point. And
just
Bill's
like
just
knocking on the door. Like,
is that OJ Simpson? we got it. It's our guy.
It also makes kind of an interesting concept because of when we had Jacoby Brissett and he got to play like a game, and it was just something completely completely different for Belichick. I'd like to see Belichick with a true mobile quarterback out there. I don't know, and have an arm as well too.
I mean,
and Bridgewater's a player. Like he's out there to play. I think they trade for Baker Mayfield.
That's
and
what I
think,
said.
And I
walking
think
into the season.
And I think that, Brady and Baker do have somewhat of a relationship, and I'm sure there's some sort of open door that Belichick wanted Baker at the time. It was just too costly. And that Cleveland team's a dumpster fire. I feel like they all just want out of there. Like no one wants to play for that city. I would like to see a trade for Baker Mayfield. I want Baker Mayfield. I think Baker does have a fire inside of him that needs to be out there.
The only reason I would want to see that, because I know like from Fox Sports, Colin Cowherd, he'll gas the Patriots up, but he despises Baker Mayfield. I would love to see how that would contrast. But Tom Brady's going to be the quarterback of the
What do you think would have happened if we go back now in the time capsule 2 years ago, and it's halfway through the Super Bowl 52 season, I believe that was, right? Or whatever, 53 season. Whenever they traded Jimmy G 2 years ago. So 52? What if we moved on? What if we moved on from Tom Brady after that Eagles loss, and we just said we're going with Jimmy G?
So you lose the divisional that year, and then the next year you win Super Bowl.
So
what happened? You lost the divisional that year because he's not experienced enough, and then the next year you come back, presuming he doesn't get injured, and you win the Super Bowl because Belichick's too good of a coach for that, and we're too talented of a roster not to win the Super Bowl with Jimmy G.
It's almost like we wouldn't be sitting at 6; we'd still be sitting at 5 Super Bowls. But the long term for this team right now would be like we're gonna win another 3 coming up in the next couple of years.
Have at least 10 more years of Jimmy G in his like prime.
Yeah. And it's like it's kind of like the Brett Favre, the Aaron Rodgers thing.
Yep.
And it's like and it kind of sucks because that's why I said Bill we trust because he wanted to do that. He wanted to move away. He saw this happening, and now Bill, this is kind of crazy because he has extra time. He has a whole extra month of prep, but now Bill has to clean up this fucking mess, and I'm sure Bill is not happy about that. I'm surprised Bill is even keeping this job.
He has the biggest leg to stand on because Kraft already played it's Tom Brady card. Like we have to get Tom Brady.
Yeah.
But Bill could be like, all right, look at what happened. We had Tom Brady. Didn't work out.
He played the Gronk card
now
too.
Now it's
Belichick
Bill.
tried to trade Gronk earlier last year.
And anybody out there this year saying fucking, oh, well, Brady didn't have weapons and they didn't do anything. Fuck you. Like, fuck you. They went out and got Antonio Brown, and Antonio Brown did Antonio Brown. He shot himself in the foot. They got Josh Gordon last year, and they said, you know what? He needs to rehab. They spent so much fucking time on Josh Gordon in the offseason to get him back going, and everyone was hyped up. Josh Gordon's back. And then Belichick got rid of him with no questions asked. And guess what happens? He goes to Seattle, and all of a sudden, he relapses again.
He's
done,
right? Like, there's no way
they went out, and yes, they tried getting Manny Sanders. Didn't work out. Just because players are available doesn't mean teams are going to trade him to fucking New England. We saw that with Antonio Brown. They offered a lot for Antonio Brown from the Steelers, and they said, no, we're not trading to New England. We're not doing that. So that didn't happen.
We also got the wrong answer.
They had to get Sanu.
Yeah.
They had to get Sanu. They got N'Keal Harry. They thought at that time he was the best wide receiver in the draft. They went to go get N'Keal Harry. And they tried trading for tight ends. They tried getting like Howard. They got Austin Seferian-Jenkins, and this guy had a little mental relapse, and like things just do not work out. But you know what? The Patriots, between Belichick and Kraft, whoever it is, tried going out and getting players around him, and it just didn't work. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of N'Keal Harry, Noah Cohn asked, how much potential does N'Keal Harry have? Huge N'Keal Harry guy. Literally, he's only caught the ball. I think he's only been targeted like, say, 20 times throughout the season. Not even. I doubt it's been 20. Caught the majority of it. Had a handful of touchdowns. He's good. Like, it's gonna matter whether or not Brady's still on the team.
Him.
Yeah, but he got joined week 12, week 13, or something like that. He's a good player. It was a good pick.
People discredit
I
the
want to
fact
see
that Brady missed OTAs. This was the biggest OTAs he's missed his entire career, because the Patriots never draft receivers high, and when they do, they suck. Aaron Dobson being the most glaring obvious.
Well, Joe, I went to my ranch in Montana, and I brought N'Keal out there, and we practiced together. You know, we had a little downtime together. I don't need OTAs. I do it on my own time.
Look how that worked out.
But it just shows you, too, like, not even that. How about Jacoby Myers? How about Dorsett? Like, why isn't Brady taking the extra time to get these reps with these guys? Because you know that shit's going to happen.
You know, it's also wicked funny when we're just talking about this. We're all wicked mad at Brady. Like, oh, my God, how could you leave? Like, dude, it's Super Bowl or bust here. Like, we're not going to win the Super Bowl every single year. Like, they're like all my friends at school. They're all Eagles fans.
But that's the expectation now.
They're still ecstatic over the
fact
Alabama,
that they won
dude. Super Bowl.
It's Alabama. It's national title game or bust, and that's what we are. And it's going to take a couple years of, you know, being that mid-tier wild card. You're lucky to get in the playoffs to start accepting. And then we're just going to be just like the Cowboys fans. Well, I remember 15 years ago when we had Tom Brady. I will say this. I think that if they move on from Tom Brady, I'm not going to say next year they're going to be a Super Bowl. Like, next year, be like, let's make the playoffs. Like, let's prove to you that Belichick can do this. This team, if they move on from Brady, will be back in the Super Bowl within 3 years. I trust Brady, and it's not about Robert Kraft. I trust Jonathan Kraft. Jonathan Kraft's the real deal. He's the one who's taking
Belichick.
And I trust Steve, and I trust the coaching because the system works. And yeah, you can say Tom Brady's a system QB, blah, blah, blah. He is. I mean, it's not that don't blame the system, because the system worked.
Yeah.
I have a serious question, though. So going off of that prediction, they'll be back in the Super Bowl in 3 years.
I say 3 years. If they move
on 3 years. Okay. Could they do that with a bridge guy, not a draft pick coming up?
Yes,
they could.
I say that because of the whole
system works.
Because of the Matt Castle thing. It's the only outlier we can ever go back on, 11-5. They can do it with the bridge guy. They can go into this draft or next draft, and they got their quarterback of the future, right? Say it's not Stidham, right? You go get your quarterback. Then they go get a guy like Jameis Winston and like, oh, we're only going to bring in for 2 years or 3 years. Or we go get an Andy Dalton or something like that. The bridge guy. The guy's going to get you 2 to 3 years there. All of a sudden, on cheap money, by the way, too. If Belichick goes out there and then starts sprinkling the money around and he starts giving these guys weapons, any quarterback can look good. Look at a guy like Kirk Cousins. All right, they gave him the money, but I know, but he's got Thielen, he's got Diggs, he's got Dalvin Cook. Something that's always bothered me is that Brady never had a true running back behind him. He never had that.
Excuse me, Ben Jarvis Green Ellis was elite.
But I'm talking about like having that Ezekiel Elliott type of running back, having that Le'Veon Bell type of running back,
like a guy you can really lean on to win.
We had Steven Jackson. Jackson was a stud. People want to talk.
And if you're a Patriots fan, okay, because you have to be a Patriots fan. You can be a Brady fan. If you're a Patriots fan, wouldn't it feel sweet if they got rid of Brady and they still win the division? And they still win the division. As a Patriots fan, I'm talking about Pats fan. Wouldn't it feel sweet to win the division next year
100%.
And be like, hey, what happened, Miami? You guys got a top pick and you guys are supposed to look good. Hey, Jets, you guys got You guys got fucking Mono Darnold over there and Le'Veon Bell. You know, hey, Buffalo, you made the playoffs last year. We still win the division. So it just, as a Patriots fan, and Bill, you trust. You have to trust Bill. You have to trust the hood. And he's got a lot to prove without Tom Brady. And you know that both of these guys are going to be fueled by that for the next 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, and if you're not excited about that, if you're not excited about winning the division without Tom Brady, you're a loser. You're a bona fide loser if you don't want your own team to win because they let Tom Brady win.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
Yeah. Like, everyone's gonna be sad. It's gonna be like, oh, we don't have Brady anymore. It's gonna be like, okay, well, obviously this team has it. This defense kept them in games nonstop. And if we had Stidham, I know I shit on him, but if Stidham had played since week 1, this team probably would have went 11-5, 10-6. They would have been fine. Like, they still, I think if they had Stidham in there, they still.
I don't know. I'm thinking 9-7.
They probably would have got to keep Antonio Brown all year too. Because because no one would be crying about Brady and Antonio Brown. But Antonio Brown probably would.
Yeah, that lady would have shut up. So I think we're gonna mostly do Patriots talk because I feel like it's gonna go.
Did you see this is gonna go with the helmet smashing?
Oh yeah.
They got 100,000 views, and people stole my video. I should have.
I mean, that's just the way the internet. That's just the way the internet works. Like, you can't get mad at that.
He got it, and he looked at me and was like, "Dude, did you film that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I did." And I was like, and I just posted it. Like, I was like, "Should I watermark it?" I was like, "Yeah, no one's gonna do it." Someone put it on TikTok, and
did you get in trouble for that or no?
No, because it's public. I'm in a public area.
But you are signed at J11, right?
Huh? Yeah, but they don't give. Edelman doesn't even like me to begin with. That's probably the reasons why, because of shit like that. But let me just say something really quick too. If anyone's actually still watching here, I am all on the Dietrich Weiss bandwagon. I want to just say that this year has been fun from day one to like now because of Ticketgate when I got in trouble for all that shit, and the Patriots hated me for that. And then I was at I was at the first day of training camp, and I was in the friends and family area, and security hounded me. But N'Keal Harry and Stephon Gilmore came up and recognized me. Gunner this year said, "Yo, you're the man. Like, yo, you're a legend." Like, that's cool. Like, shit like that. Derek Rivers and Dietrich Weiss. Dietrich Weiss has been hooking it up. And I know for Ride the Wave purposes, and he's going to do this, is that he has his charity called Wise Up, which is to help out the Boston youth area, to be a little bit smarter, make the right decisions. Ride the Wave is going to start working with that in the offseason now that he has got more time to focus on that. He's such a great guy, and he sees the Spike King, and he likes the tattoo stuff, and he thinks it's all funny, but he knows who Brian is, and he sees that, and he sees who Dito is, and he sees all this shit that goes on. And he said this, let's just say week 17, they lose. The guy comes up and goes, "Hey, tough loss. You guys want to come next week?" Like, that's awesome. And then, they lose in the fucking wild card round. And he's like, "Hey, tough loss. But, hey, if I'm still here next year, just hit me up, practices and stuff." And that's awesome. It's awesome to be able to build those connections and start getting yourself in there. Because just like Hagop said, I don't know if he's ever watching anymore, there's a new era of Pats Nation that's coming in here. And you know me, I'm still going to be up there. I'm still going to go 100 miles an hour. There are going to be so many people that jump off the Patriots wagon. And I'm going to be very interested. The second that Brady leaves and maybe they start the season 1 and 2 or whatever they end up starting, the tickets are going to go down. No one's going to start going to games anymore. And I'm still going to be there.
I'd argue that makes it more entertaining to watch. Because like for my entire life, it's just been like, dude, Brady's going to find a way to pull it out. And he does. So there's no like nervousness. That's why I like watching like the Penn State games better, because I'm like, dude, I literally have no idea how it's going to
look. Like Stafford, I said to you, I give them 3 years to make the Super Bowl. I'll give them 3 years to make the Super Bowl under Belichick, and that will make it more entertaining because that Super Bowl will be the sweetest as a Pats fan to be like,
unequivocally the sweetest.
Unequivocally the sweetest.
Yeah.
Robert.
No, but I think it's a different culture type of thing in Boston too, because you see a lot of teams that went from winning to losing, back to winning. It's like a cycle and stuff, and it was kind of a weird culture thing. But in Boston, I feel like we've always expected this level of dominance, or at least as long as I've been alive. I'm 20 years or 19 years old, and for the past 20 or so years, we've expected this, had this winning culture and stuff. So it's interesting to see what's going to happen when we start to lose.
But that carries over into other sports as well, like the Bruins and Celtics and shit like that. And that's why I like a coach like Brad Stevens. He's got that little Belichick kind of in him a little bit. I still think the Pats are in good hands no matter what, carrying on for the future. Belichick ain't going anywhere. He's here for another 5 to 10 years. Like I said, he's trying to go for Don Shula's record. This guy wants to win. He still controls that team, and I think that the Patriots will be absolutely fine going forward.
Don Shula hates Bill Belichick. He calls him Belichick.
And that's why Belichick's driven to be like, I'm going to continue winning, and I'm going to put my fucking name on the top of everything. Same way like Brady should keep playing because Brady should have those records out there. He's already got the 6 Super Bowls. He should start stat padding if he has to. That's absolutely fine in my book. But go do it on a different team. I think it's time to go do it somewhere else. I think it's time that the Patriots and New England accept this and say, we need a breath of fresh air. We need to move forward. It's going to happen eventually. It's better to do it right now because
no matter what, it's gonna be ugly break, dude. There's no clean break that can happen with this.
But as a Pats fan, and say they signed Tom Brady for 2 more years, do you want to see him turn into Peyton Manning and slowly progress? And then like it starts becoming sad, and then then all the fans are on you like you guys haven't moved on, and like you guys can't move on. I'm sure Belichick wants to move on. It's business. I'm sure Brady wants to move on.
Well, basically,
and I'm sure the right fit will happen.
Basically, what Indy did with Peyton Manning is what the Patriots were supposed to do with Jimmy Garoppolo. They just took the alternate route. They drafted Andrew Luck and let Peyton Manning walk to Denver, and he still had a couple good years. That would have been the same thing if we had kept Garoppolo. Brady still would have been productive and probably won a Super Bowl.
Is there any way, this probably will never happen, that we can do a sign and trade and sign Brady, but then trade him away and somehow get a little something?
That's really only the NBA.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
But Brady, I know. Brady helps us out still.
All right, a couple more questions. Some good ones. We have like a ton, but I'm only going to pick out the best remaining few. It's going to stick with Pat's talk, and then from now on, we're going to be a Celtics show, really.
No, there'll be a lot of football left. It's still football season.
There's going to be
we'll be talking about some
Tom Brady news.
Champion Minnesota
I'm
Vikings.
just waiting until we can talk Celtics. This is the only reason I started this stupid show. What position do you think the Patriots should draft with their first-round pick this year from P.Gear03?
They should draft number 23 overall because that's where they have their pick.
No,
we said what position?
Oh, shut up. Boo. I don't know, like a lineman? You can never go wrong drafts.
You always draft a lineman. Every time we draft high, it's always a lineman, and I'm sick of it.
But you can't really pick right now because we don't know what Brady's situation. Mm-hmm. We have to wait till March, and we have to see what goes on with Brady. And probably at the beginning of April, you'll have a clear head of, okay, this is our quarterback. Now start building around it. And if it's Tom Brady at quarterback, they need a fucking tight end this year. They need a tight end. Whether they have to go out and find one on the market, but the market's not that great, where they have to go trade for something, they might have to trade that 23rd overall pick for somebody out there too. There's a lot of needs.
I think the Patriots are more successful instead of taking players with those first-round picks. I think the track record for the last 5-10 years has shown that trading those picks away, they're bringing in a haul. Especially, I think the most memorable one to recent date is the Brandon Cooks deal, where we got him for a year, traded like a 31st overall pick, and ended up trading him away and getting a pick that was even higher, and you get a year of production out of him.
I'm actually interested to see, do you trade Stephon Gilmore? Now, you guys are making those faces, but here's the thing. $18 million, $19 million coming up. If you're Belichick, you look at that. This guy's gonna be the defensive player of the year. He's high market value right now. If you trade him away,
that's fair.
And you could take that $18 million and start spreading it somewhere else, because now next year this isn't gonna be we're not winning a Super Bowl next year. It's like, say if you move on from Brady, we're not winning next year, right? Do we trade Stephon? You get a solid first-round pick for him or something like that. You free up a lot of cap space. You use that money. You start sprinkling it elsewhere. Just a thought. Roondog thinks he's gone. Roondog said he's
every single defensive player that could be gone. I think that'd be the worst possible move you could make. I mean, I'd get rid of Hightower before I get rid of Gilmore. I get rid of Van Noy before you get rid of Gilmore. I think he's gone too.
Yeah.
But literally, McCourty, anybody, because Gilmore's still playing like the best cornerback in the league, and you still need a shutdown corner to win.
JC will end up being your number one if you end up getting rid of him.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
JC Jackson isn't terrible though. He's a good
Jackson. But here's the thing:
he can fill in.
They went with Malcolm Butler as their number one for a while.
Yeah.
Like you got to think about that.
And
Malcolm
kind of
played elite football for like a year and a half.
Yeah.
He played elite football for a year and a half.
And you got to give Belichick his credit. He got and signed Gilmore, and everyone's like, what the hell are you doing? And it was pretty much worth the money. Now, it's unfortunate that he only got one Super Bowl, but one Super Bowl ring. But he kind of won the AFC Championship game to get us into Super Bowl 52. But hey, he got his value out of Gilmore. Hey, see you later. I want my 18 million. I want my 19 million. I want to start spreading it elsewhere around there. Just thinking that Belichick's been very smart over the last 25 years with the salary cap. And and again, it's in Bill we trust. I don't think it's the right move either, but
he gave the money to Gilmore, not to Ty Law. I think that tells you something, though. You know what I mean? It was the same situation, and then he gave Gilmore the money. Didn't give Ty Law the money. So I think that speaks volumes.
I think Gilmore was younger.
But that whole defense, you'll lose Van Noy. You're going to end up you're going to lose the McCourties most likely. You're going to start losing a lot of that defense. Yep. He might just be like, cut it. Let's just start redoing it. I'm excited for Chase Winovich next year because I think he's a
beast.
Yeah.
You're going to have Devin McCourty's still a free agent. I know he's been mulling retirement. I think we've talked about that. But you also have Jason McCourty, who hasn't been healthy since the middle of the season, and he's arguably not as good as Devin McCourty. So it's interesting to see what kind of situation is gonna.
Stafford, I agree with you too about the Hightower thing. I think I think Kraft wants him, but I think he's gone too.
Yeah.
And I think, and this is again Roondog. Roondog getting a lot of love because he's telling me all his little things.
How has Roondog never been on this show?
He thinks because he can't talk right. He thinks that Belichick lost the locker room this year. And in certain ways, the whole boogeyman thing, more individuals than an actual team. And I feel that Belichick lost the locker room in a certain way, and I think he might just cut it completely out and say this is it and revamp the Patriots. And that's what I want to see. If he's gonna get rid of Brady, I want him to see cut everybody out and redo this team the right way in his way. Stephon
DDD Dominator. If this isn't pronounced Dominator, then I don't know what we're doing here. Will the Bills be a threat to the AFC East next year? Short answer, yes. Josh Allen's the truth.
Sean McDermott, great coach. 2 out of the last 3 years, they made the playoffs, and it took them about 20-something years to even make the playoffs. And again, this is what I like about doing what I do, right? The Spike King shit, because people go and they see Buffalo and they're like, oh, those fans suck. They're amazing up there. And what's going to be great about next year and traveling around, going to these games, is being accepted by these fan bases and having an awesome time. The Bills deserve everything they had this year. It sucks that they couldn't pull it out against the Texans, and that's going to be growing pains. But I say that they'll make the playoffs again next year. I think they'll be right there next year, and they'll be playing wild card weekend. And if the Pats want to do a tank mode, they'll win the division next year.
I agree with you. I think it's a culture thing, too. I think McDermott changed the entire culture in that locker room, and he just made them a winning organization again. And they haven't had it since the 90s. Josh Allen, I'm not sold he's a elite quarterback. I'm sold he's an okay quarterback who
Poncho Power. Poncho Power.
I'm convinced he takes what the defense gives him, which is a good trait to have as a quarterback. But that kid, Devin Singletary, they have in that backfield is going to be good for a long time. He's being taught by Frank Gore, and he probably has the best balance I've ever seen in the league. It's unbelievable how he can stay on his feet.
And they're definitely growing pains for Josh Allen, too. I think you see in that wild card game, he made some poor decisions late in that game where could have put his team in a position to win the game late and made some really questionable decisions that didn't lead to them losing in regulation, but brought them to overtime and still ended up losing.
Imagine Antonio Brown was on the Bills. You know how originally that got reported and they're like, he's going, and then he's like, I'm not going there. But imagine in the alternate universe, he actually showed up there. That team would still be playing right now.
Could be division champs.
Their defense gets underappreciated. That defense is a real deal defense.
It really is, especially that D line. Ed Oliver is the real deal.
Yep.
But full comparison time, Josh Allen is a low IQ, fast Brett Favre. Who says I'm wrong?
I want to.
Yeah, literally no. That's literally what he is. He's a low
IQ.
That's kind of funny too, because Brett Favre wasn't the smartest guy either. So a low IQ Brett Favre. That's tough to hear.
That was the most must watch. He was playing hammer drunk that entire game. And it was unbelievable to watch. He had that run in overtime. No reason, just throws it behind him. I'm like, oh my goodness, I need this.
Gotta win the game.
All right, we have 2 or 3 more questions. Do the Pats re-sign Slater this year? That is from Boston Sports Updates 12.
Only if Brady's back. Here's a good question: It's Matthew Slater a Hall of Famer?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
He absolutely is.
Special
teamer. Hall of Fame that isn't a kicker, probably.
He's one of the best special teamers to
Or,
play the game. Like shows like the drive, like how important it is to have a guy that can play that role and like be on the roster as a wide receiver. But you don't even have to play that position.
I was gonna say now that's one of those things about the Tom Brady $30 million, sprinkling that money around. Yes, sprinkle a little bit more Matthew Slater's way. That's someone that's a Bill Belichick guy. He's someone he would keep. He's someone like, hey, I'll give you a little extra money. I want you to stay to be the veteran to some of these rookies, and he gets another year or two on a deal right there. But again, it all hinges, I think, on a lot of these players. Like I think McCourty said it. Like a lot of these guys played together for a long time, and now all of them are pretty much free agents, or they're getting they're on their way out. So
locker room leaders. Like these guys are captains of this football team.
And they're on their way out soon.
One thought on Matthew Slater. This dude made special teams positions a thing. A lot of teams just had their backup receivers just transition to become some of those players. Exactly. He is a bona fide special team positional player. I wouldn't be surprised if the NFL actually adds 2 roster spots from 53 to 55.
That's a great point.
4 special team players as a position.
You know, Bill's pushing for that.
That's a great point.
Wes is probably pushing for that.
Yeah, Wes is going to be part of that.
Yeah.
McKelvey 1, trade for an elite wide receiver or sign a free agent like AJ Green?
I think you're going to see the Patriots probably try to sign. I don't know if you're going to be able to trade for those guys, especially if they're already on those huge contracts. The Patriots aren't going to have a lot of money to spend.
Odell Beckham is not worth the $13 million or whatever he is. I don't think he's worth it. I don't want him. I mean, I want him. I mean, I get it, but I just don't want to spend the money. I don't want it there.
I think the best scenario for the Patriots is if you get like AJ Green on a 1-year like prove it deal.
Do you still have it type of deal?
You get to play with Tom Brady outside the lines. What could go wrong?
What the fuck happened to Des Bryant? What the fuck happened to him and saying he's going to make a comeback, and this guy never even went anywhere? I'm just wondering.
He went to the Saints, right?
No, that was last year. It was just he started making his comeback, and he was training, and then all of a sudden it was just like nothing happened.
Yeah, imagine the horrified reaction Des Bryant had watching Lamar Jackson ball out when Baltimore gave him a 3-year, $15 million fully guaranteed contract, and he said no.
Yeah.
He would be on the way to a Super Bowl right now. That's unbelievable. He must be shitting his pants, but that he actually
or Baltimore probably is lucky to be like, we made the right deal, because he probably would have been a head case because we're not throwing him the ball enough times, and it would have ruined the culture over there. Who knows?
Maybe.
Hey, first of all, I want to say this too. I said this on like way earlier, Tyler, on one of the podcasts. Shout out to Mark Ingram this year. Remember we were talking about guys that you're gonna make a splash this year. I said Mark. I said that. I got right one thing this year, and I'm. That's a team that will be fun if they do go to the Super Bowl. Imagine another San Fran Baltimore Super Bowl. That would be a very interesting. Not gonna happen. It's gonna be Titans Vikings.
Dip their mic in water.
Yeah, what happened?
Someone got a tornado on the end.
2 more. We'll wrap up. Will Thuney want the farm when it's time? Thuney, whatever. Want the farm to when it comes to negotiate his contract? All-Pro, 2-time Super Bowl champ.
He's gonna go get his money somewhere. The Pats gotta sign him. That's where the money's gotta be. It's again. You want Brady? You want to give him $30 million? Okay. Where's the money for Thuney? Like, where do you get that from? It's
agree.
a tough thing. It's the tough thing with Tom Brady. It's all on Tom Brady. It's all about that $30 million. You're literally saying, Brady, we're giving you $30 million, and now it's like, fuck, like, where are we gonna put all this other money?
Yeah, no. And that O-line was really the reason why we had an unsuccessful season. Because Sony Michel, like we all know, needs a good O-line and needs a good fullback to lead him, through the hole to get to the second level. Because he really can't make that Shady McCoy cut move to get past that defensive line. And you saw with Brady when Karras fills in, the snap was a little bit off for a couple weeks. They kind of fixed that. But Shaq Mason was not comfortable with him next to him playing center. He was very comfortable with David Andrews playing there, so he could pull. He knew how to do all this athletic stuff, or he could, especially in the run game, he was very effective in the run game. But this year, especially passing, he did not feel safe having Ted Karras as his center, and you could see it.
I'm just looking, too, because we're talking about running backs. James White next year, he's on 1 more year deal. He's getting paid $3 million. That guy's gone after next year. He's going to get paid somewhere else. And it'll be interesting to see what he has to do next year. What is Rex a free agent yet? Or does he still have another year left on his
He's still on the roster. That's all I know.
Rex is the most interesting case we have at running back because the dude plays well every time you run him a couple times, but he's so injury prone. He can't stay on the field.
He was good down the stretch. He's one of those guys that, like you said, he's going to put up numbers. Sex Burkhead.
He has
Sexy Rexy, baby.
He has a potential opt-out this offseason if he wants to leave. If
So
he
the
stays, he
potential.
gets paid
Potential.
So afraid to
potential
lose.
2.5 million.
Last question. This is kind of like a combo of two people's questions. It's a lot of free agent tight ends will be making the market, such as Ebron or Hunter Henry. Do you see the Pats going after either of them?
Yes, but they don't land either of them.
What he said. I
Uh,
don't think they land either.
I feel like Eric Ebron isn't a high IQ guy that Belichick typically likes to have in his passing offense. Like Ben Watson's a smart guy. You knew that he was in the league for a long time. And Gronk, no matter what you say, he was a smart football guy. I think the whole Gronk thing's kind of a facade too. That's the whole thing for another episode. But he needs smart football guys, and I don't really think Eric Ebron's that smart. He was in an easy system in Indianapolis. Andrew Luck just fed him the ball in the red zone. He had 15 touchdowns a couple years ago, but I don't think it'd work in New England.
All right. Any final thoughts before we kind of wrap up this whole Patriots talk?
Listen,
Spike King, your
guys,
tattoos, yeah.
it's no. Yeah, you know what? Again, it is what it is. You move on. You move forward. It's going to be a very, very interesting offseason, to say the least. And anything can happen. My gut feeling says Tom Brady's gone. If you keep Tom Brady, this team isn't going to go anywhere because you're going to lock up all that money. I cannot see Brady taking a pay cut. And it just stinks because it's mid-January. And usually right now we're still in it. I mean, think about going to AFC title game for like nearly 10 straight years. And it just feels so lost right now. It feels so lost.
The earliest a Patriots season has ended in 10 years.
Yeah, a decade. I'm 28. I was 18 the last time. That it's
crazy.
Like, what do I do with my next couple of weeks?
Yeah.
And I will say this. Now, here's another couple questions. I had a trip planned to Miami. I'm not going anymore.
I was gonna ask that.
And you know what sucks? And I was getting out of the game. The other night, and I'm walking around. I was near Scorpion Bar. Someone stops me. Hey, you Spike King? Hey, man, tough loss. By the way, I run the Hard Rock Hotel down in Miami. If you come down, I'll take care of you, no problem. I have a lot of Boston Fro. Hey, Babs, I'll take care of you, no problem. There's a lot of connects down in Miami, and I could definitely have a great week. I just know if I go down there, it's bad vibes. You got to move on. It's basketball season, and I would rather spend my time. I want to watch the Super Bowl. I want to get together with some of the guys. I think Ride the Wave should get together, have a little Super Bowl shindig or something like that.
Pennsylvania.
But I'm gonna do a little getaway. I need some time off. I need a little vacation. I got the flu in between week 17 and the wild card. I just knew getting the flu. I was like, this isn't the year. This is not the year that's gonna happen. Let me say this. I'm planning a little trip for next month. I'm gonna go out to LA. I'm gonna see a little Celtics Lakers. I'm gonna see a little Celtics Trailblazers. I'm gonna see a little Celtics Jazz. Spike King's gonna hit the road on a West Coast trip and do a little Celtics content. We gotta.
You should fight LeBron James.
I should fight. I should throw a beer on the court.
You should.
From
Shout
300
out
level.
Shout out Everett. All right.
I gotta make my guarantee.
All right.
Tom Brady will be on the Patriots next year. Everyone's gonna be blah blah blah. This happened. This is like the third time in the last 5 years this happened. Is Tom Brady gonna be back? Is he gonna retire? We know he's not retiring. He's gonna be back on the Patriots next year. Book it. It's almost a guarantee for
me. When he doesn't come back, you're gonna go back to that Instagram post and you're gonna reread that and be like, that was a farewell message. Just like Rob Gronkowski's little farewell message. That's the way it reads.
Stafford, do you have any see you laters?
I'm not ready to say goodbye to Tom Brady yet, but if that was it, thanks, Tom.
All right, well, I'm about to self-promo myself. This has nothing to do with Tom and the Patriots because it is basketball season. It is Celtics season.
Yeah!
If you're not paying attention to the Celtics, you should be now. And if you don't want to, then I'm saying this now. So if I don't do it, everyone who watches this or you three schmucks can make fun of me and roast me for not doing it. But my plan for 2020 is Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I will put out on Ride the Wave Media a 1 minute.
I don't believe it.
1 minute video. No, this is why I'm saying it now. So if I don't do it, you can make fun of me. This is my goal for 2020. A 1 minute video that the Celtics every single day, basic edits, basic talk. If you missed stuff, maybe just the whole NBA, but you'll see it. It's been in the works since like mid-December. I finally got all the stuff I needed. I have the idea in my head. Wanted to go with it. Not paying attention to the NBA. Just pay attention on Monday, Wednesday, Friday at Ride the Wave Media. You'll see it. I'm holding myself to it, and this is why I'm saying it. So if I don't do it, you people can make fun of me and just say I don't believe it. You can keep saying
you'll
I don't
make
believe
excuses, just
it.
like
Nah, we'll see. No. December was rough. I'll tell you that. But no, we're back. Simple
it's
as
a new
that.
year, new me, like new year.
Nah, I hate that. I just wanted to do one thing a little bit different. This is the one thing I'm doing.
Let me ask you this, Tyler. Are the Celtics going to beat the Joel Embiidless Sixers tonight?
What's the spread of that game?
Probably like 3.5 for the Philly.
6. Sixers aren't good, dude. Like, I wanted to talk Celtics Sixers, but we're running out of time. I don't want to go this too long. But yeah, we'll talk about it next week. Celtics are a good team. Sixers are not a good team despite being 0-2 against the Sixers this year. Who cares? They're going to hang up the banner. Like, whatever. They're going to hang up the banner. We beat the Celtics twice this year. Ooh.
The Boston Celtics are a top 3 NBA team.
Yeah, and Jaylen Brown. Everyone still wants to disrespect Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown is 23 years old, and he's doing unreal things at 23 years old.
And he's going to be an all-star.
Yeah,
he's going to be an all-star this
year. If he's not an all-star, dude, I'm paying for Adam Silver to get hair plugs just so I can rip it out of his ass.
What about Cantor going on like a what do you had? It's like 6 blocks
Cantor,
one night.
Anus.
Good.
We love Anus.
Everybody hates Cantor. Everybody hates Cantor.
Everybody.
He's not good at defense. No. If you are on like Twitter and you see all these morons be like, "Oh, Cantor's terrible, send him back to Turkey." I'm like, all right, if he goes back to Turkey, you want him to die. Like, so it knows a lot about you. We signed Cantor to get offensive rebounds, putbacks, and the occasional block shot like this. We didn't sign him. We didn't sign him to play defense, and everyone's like, "Oh, blah blah blah." You knew what he was when we signed him.
That's true. You
can't get mad that he's producing. He was not signed to play defense. He was not signed to be a low post presence. He gets. I don't know the exact number. It feels at least like 4 or 5 offensive rebounds a game.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. All right. So if you want to update, like, I get generally angry at some of these morons on Twitter. That's kind of what
Celtics still need to make a move for something? I feel like they still need to make a move. There's got to be some sort of move.
All right. So we'll talk about that next week.
One question. The yearly Andre Drummond rumors are coming out again. The Celtics are interested.
I take him in a heartbeat.
Do we get Andre Drummond? Yes or no?
Yes, because this is what happened.
Gordon Hayward. You gone.
Gordon Hayward is not coming back. Whether he could opt in this year, but when his contract ends, he's gone. He's the most whipped individual I've ever seen in my entire life. His wife hates Boston, and he can't do anything without his wife's permission. Like, she has to sign literally like a permission slip for like a field trip. He's like, hey, can I go on this like 4-game road trip with the team? And if Robin says no, then it looks like he's gaming for the weekend. But like, Gordon Hayward's not coming back. You trade Gordon Hayward to match the contract, and whoever you trade to match the contracts, well, all the rest of the people, it has to be a third team involved. Whoever that third team is, we don't know. But you're probably going to get rid of Carson Edwards because he's not that great to start. But, like, he's only a rookie, but he's also 5'1" in the NBA.
And the Celtics have a lot of guard depth deep.
They're playing a lot of young guys, especially with all these sicknesses and injuries, to showcase their talents so they can trade, I think. You got to get off that Memphis pick because Memphis isn't terrible. But other than that, trade for Drummond. He's a big guy that you need, big guy that you should want to have. He's 26 years old. He's played 8 NBA seasons. 8 at 26 years old. He is 3 years older than Jaylen Brown. He's like Kemba. I think he's younger than Kemba Walker. You take Drummond in a heart.
And the team gets younger, too.
Yeah. All right.
I just want to say, I'm casual, obviously basketball. I've always said that I wanted Dwight Howard on this team. I've always wanted Dwight Howard. And yeah, it didn't look like his career was dwindling down. Look what he did now in LA, coming off the bench. And that Lakers team's winning the championship this year. They are so. Don't make that face. They are so.
I'm gonna make that face. If you're a Celtics fan, you can't say that.
I'm just being realistic. I mean, they're going to win. If the Celtics play the Lakers in the NBA Finals, the Lakers will win in 5. Lakers are going to win in 5. They're going to out-rebound. They're going to push them around. They're going to bully them around. LeBron's on a whole nother level, and I think LeBron taking that time off last year and kind of tanking and just taking some time off was good for his career.
Not until you have
LeBron
2
Don't forget that.
UConn Huskies in the starting lineup for the Celtics in a month from now.
All right, so like I said, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, starting next Monday because I'll be back at school and have everything set up. And we'll talk about it. Boston's Big 3, sponsored by 100, presented by Ride the Wave Media. We'll see you guys next week. And go Pat.
And the Red Sox aren't cheaters.
Alex Cora is, but whatever.